mean, it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Fanboys, we hope your day is going terrible. As usual, that will never change as long as you're tuning into this channel. So, I was checking out this interview on the Knuckleheads podcast with Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles, and they had the answer Allen Iverson on there, who's definitely one of my favorite players, even though I don't agree with a lot of his points of views on certain things. And they talked about various things. They talked about the culture of the NBA now and how players seem to be missing so many games and almost eager to miss so many games, you know, having to implement rules that say if you don't play 65 games, you're not eligible for this and that. And, you know, they talked about how Allen Iverson basically was like, hey, I was just missing practice. You know, I would go hard in the games. But again, this is something that I still disagree with. As far as, you know, if you want to reach your full potential, to me, you take everything serious, as Michael Jordan did. Again, Michael Jordan, obviously he had the ability and the potential there, but that potential is nothing if you don't do everything to maximize it. And part of maximizing it, to me, is taking practice as serious as you take the game. Again, there is no such thing as activating playoff mode, LeBron James. You are either in playoff mode all the time or you're in for a letdown. But it's okay because you got plenty of excuses. But anyway, so yeah, they talked about various things. Talked about his college career and, you know, talked about some of the early troubles he got into in his younger days and, you know, almost ruined his ability to make it to college in the NBA. And so it was a good interview. You should go check it out. But one thing he said, which is something that I've said before, and it's bad news for you fanboys. One of the things he talked about was the younger generation knowing him. And I forgot exactly what context they brought it up in, you know, kind of talking about his impact on the culture at the time. And I think some to the degree of when did he realize how big of impact he had. And he was talking about he loves it when either people who are way older than him, knows who he is and acknowledges him, or people who are way younger. And he was talking about, you know, younger kids saying, hey, that's AI. And he's like, how do you even know about me? And they're like, YouTube. And there it is. But let's check out this clip right quick.
Like older people, like 60, 70, 80, and Mr. Iverson, like, or a little kid, like 5, 6, 7 years old, you know, Mr. Iverson. And I'm like, man, how you know me? And they like YouTube, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's dope because, you know, they would, you know, like people that came up off of me or with me, they put their kids on it like, man, you think such and such is, like, well, let me show you blah, blah, blah. Like I had to do that with my son. You know, my son loved LeBron. Like, man, but you ever seen Mike?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. And then I put in the joint, he like,
PSA
oh, yeah,
world. The rest of y'all parents need to get out here and do what one of our goats is doing. He's showing them the real. Now y'all go ahead and follow suit. You had to show them MJ.
So yeah. So YouTube. Fanboys, let me tell you, the internet is the worst thing that could have ever happened to you guys trying to promote LeBron James as the GOAT. We all know that I think they did a players poll recently. And of course, Michael Jordan still came out on top, but LeBron James closed the gap a little bit. And honestly, I think that's due to a couple of things. I think that's due to the hold that Clutch Sports has on the league right now. And I think that's due to recency bias. But again, I've said, once LeBron James retires, I believe we're going to see a fall like we probably haven't seen in terms of an NBA player. You know, number one, because first of all, they tried to do too much during his career to make him the GOAT, instead of just letting his career play out and letting the fans make up their mind themselves. They tried to push it on everyone too much. But the other thing is what Allen Iverson said. Is, you know, he said, did he say his son? I believe he said his son, you know, is a LeBron fan. And he had to say, hey, look, let me show you Michael Jordan. And of course, his son, like, we can get on YouTube and watch reaction videos of the younger generation reacting to Michael Jordan for the first time. And you see the reaction. Most of the times it is in disbelief that a human being could play basketball that way. And again, even over Kobe, I love Kobe Bryant. I know it's some serious diehard Kobe fans who like to think that Kobe is right there with Mike, but I beg to differ by a pretty large margin. I think it's Michael Jordan and everybody else. But yeah, if you watch reaction videos to Kobe, of course you're going to be impressed. But it's not like watching a reaction video to Michael Jordan, again, where you're watching someone who just totally looks like he's doing inhuman things, where it makes you question his humanity. And this is the reason why I think Michael Jordan will likely remain the GOAT for a very long time in the eyes of most. Like I said, I think it is going to take someone who is clearly better from the beginning. Like I said, I think when the next person comes along who has an actual chance of passing Michael Jordan, I think that's going to be very evident right away. And what I mean by that is just the way he plays and the way he moves is going to be something like we haven't seen. Again, this is why I say the Anthony Edwards comparisons. I love Anthony Edwards. I love the mentality. I love the leadership. But here's the way I would describe it. I think Anthony Edwards is a strong competitor. He is a strong competitor. And matter of fact, because competition and competitors are so scarce, or have been so scarce for the last decade or more, when someone comes along like that, it sticks out. You know, Jalen Brunson. You know, I'm a fan of Jalen Brunson. But Anthony Edwards is my guy. But the comparisons to Michael Jordan, like I said, Anthony Edwards, to me, he is a fierce competitor. Michael Jordan, I would classify, and I'll put Kobe in this as well, is a dominator. I put Larry Bird in this as well. Is a dominator. It's about more than competition. Like, again, it is about literally not only doing everything you can on the court to establish your dominance, but doing everything you can off the court. Now, when I say off the court, I mean during practice. It's like that switch never turns off to dominate. It is not just about competing. You know, it is not just about the competition. It's about literally proving that you are not on my level ever. And if anybody says you're on my level, that's going to be trouble for you, because I'm going to take it out on you. If the media says it, I'm going to take it out on you. If you say it, if your teammates say it, if your coaches say it, anybody who says it, you're going to suffer for it. So I would classify Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant as dominators. Like it went past a competitive thing. And right now I just see Anthony Edwards. I see him as a fierce competitor. Like I said, great leadership and whatnot. But yeah, the comparisons to Michael Jordan are way too much too soon. And this is the other thing. I'm not sure how much of that can be developed. Like Kobe had to develop his game in the NBA, but he didn't have to develop the mentality. He came in with that mentality. Like he came in with a dominating kind of mentality. Like, I'm here to dominate. I don't know if that's something that can be enhanced. I kind of feel like that is something almost that you're that thing or you're not that thing. Like competitiveness, you probably can enhance your competitiveness. You definitely can enhance your game. But that quality that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, had. I'm not sure how much you can cultivate that once you're in the NBA. You know, once you're 22 years old, you know, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, like I said, to me, YouTube is going to ensure that Michael Jordan is the GOAT for a very long time. You know, and you can talk about the shoes and Nike and whatever, but the fact that people will always and forever be able to go back and watch endless footage of Michael Jordan's, not only highlights, but full games. And again, you know, if you follow this channel long enough, you know that on here I'll say, hey, like if some of the older players are your GOAT, I have no problem. If Bird, Magic, Dr. J, Kareem, Wilt, Russell, any of those players are your GOAT, I have no problem, especially the older players who I actually didn't get to see. Because, again, to me, seeing is believing. And if you weren't there to experience it in real time, you know, you can go back and look at all the stats you want. You know, it's limited footage from back in those days. Like, there's limited footage of Russell. There's limited footage of Wilt and, you know, and some of those guys and Oscar Robertson. Like, you can't go back and watch endless highlights and endless games, you know, seasons of these players. So to me, it's you can look at the numbers, but it's hard to get a grasp, a real feel for the impact that these players had without that. But with Michael Jordan, there's plenty of footage. There's endless highlights. Which is why I think, you know, like I said, to me, it's going to be quite some time, especially, you know, and I'm going to wrap up the video here, especially considering this, that the culture we live in, again, I don't think is capable of producing that kind of player. I think the great athletes are all products of the time that they grew up in, so to speak. You know, in the cases of Russell and Wilt and those guys, they grew up towards the beginning of the evolution of basketball, you know. But again, I always say, to me, the 90s is the best era of basketball for me. You know, part of that is bias, but part of that is just what I believe the 90s hit right at the perfect time. Because you got to think, like, you know, they call some of the older era plumbers because these guys actually had, a lot of them wasn't making enough money to just sustain themselves from being an NBA player. But to me, you know, why you call them that, I say, well, that's much harder than, you know, these soft players we got today, because you still have to have enough passion to work a job and still want to go play these games in the NBA. Whereas these modern day players is like, you got it as easy as any NBA player in the history of the game has ever had it. And you, because of it, you are the softest of any players in the NBA we've ever had. You could talk about the flashiness if you want. But again, if we're just talking about hustle and will, to me, these players lack it severely. So yeah, I think a lot of, you know, the players are a product of the time that they come up in, and because we are in this super soft, entitled time, you know, it's unlikely that we're gonna see another Jordan for a long time. You know, I feel like it would take some hard times to hit to create that kind of environment again. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of the notion that because we have the internet, because we have things like YouTube, that it will be very hard for any player to come along and take Jordan's spot who is not worthy? It's like Jordan said, you cannot fool the consumer. And it doesn't matter how many narratives are being pushed. When you can go back on YouTube and actually see for yourself, it's going to be hard to erase Jordan as the GOAT. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.